take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. I didn't say it would be easy.
Damn right, the Rabbit Hole. Welcome to the Rabbit Hole. I'm John Fogel.
James Sweet.
And it is January 13th, 2014. And we're at KouvRadio down in the morgue talking.
You know what's going to be great is when it's going to be December 13th. Because we're going to have 12, 13, 14.
Whoa.
Uh-huh. I thought about that one hard.
Because 7, 8, 9. Yeah. We like numbers.
Well.
Welcome to the show. And how was your weekend, man?
Pretty good. Good. Was just doing some recording, getting back and getting my rock on.
Nice.
Did a cover tune. Yeah, and you know, I gotta say, I'm sure as hell glad that this is radio because it is a sweatpants kind of day. Just not motivated to gussy up today. I don't know.
Yeah, I got this weird thing going on in my knee. I don't know what my problem is, but I'm all gimpy. I'm getting old. That's what it feels like too. It just feels like I'm just, like my body's just falling apart. Plus, I haven't been in the gym in like 6 weeks because I didn't want to.
Oh, you got the case of the smallies.
Something. You just when you do it 7 days a week, 2 hours a day, forever, you just finally you hit a wall, man. I think I was overdoing it, and now it's going the opposite direction. Now, because I haven't been working out, my body's just falling apart. All my old joint injuries are like, hey, remember me?
Well, it's like the guy that, it gets too big. It's like there's got to be a point where it's like you're done. You've reached the pinnacle, right? You're finished. The finish line, it's there.
I know, I was getting a lot of crap about that, too. It's like, dude, how big do you want to be, It's like, you're 243. What do you want, But I don't know. I think it's an OCD. It's an OCD. It's what it is. So, anyway, that's not been an issue. I've drank my body weight in beer the past 6 weeks, so I'm totally counteracting all the exercise I ever did.
You're balancing out now.
That's right. That's right. So, hey, we want to thank you guys for joining us. We're going to be taking a break here in a little bit. We're going to get somebody on here. His name is Frank Madrid, and the dude's awesome. He's been doing paranormal research for many years. He is the founder of TASPERS, which is the Arizona Paranormal Research Society, and he works. He does good work, man. The guy goes out. He doesn't charge people. He's not like, hey, for $150. He doesn't claim to be an exorcist. He just wants to get the footage and get the data and try to help the people out. And he doesn't charge and that kind of thing. I think it's just awesome.
Well, and I watch some of those paranormal shows and it. They're, we're going to try to help this person out, and they already know it's haunted. That's why you're there. They're aware of that,
Right.
And unless you're going to get rid of the thing, whatever it is,
or I think people want that confirmation. You know what I mean? They want to know they're not crazy. I think is more than anything.
Right. I get that in some aspects, but
right. Some of these shows make it sound like because we're here.
Right. We're going to make you feel better about being in a haunted place.
Yeah, they're going to run because.
I don't get
because I have nice hair.
Right. They're nicer now. I get along with them now.
Right. Right. So and he sent us some sample EVPs, and we'll be playing those for you all tonight, and they're pretty good.
That'll be cool.
It will be super cool.
Stoked on that.
I've spent some time with Frank on the phone over the past week or so, and there's a lot of parallels between he and I as far as the paranormal experiences go from childhood and stuff like that. He's going to tell you a story that he told me. It made my hair stand on end. And that doesn't happen to me very often because, I'm a rabbit hole guy. I've had a lot of weird stuff happen just like you have. That's why we do this.
Mm-hmm.
But he's right up there.
I've been doing my homework though. See, I'm getting learned on on the terminology, like error cues. I didn't know what an error cue was until I watched a show and they told me what an error cue was. Like when you say you get a reenactor and you're sort of like Gettysburg or something, you get a reenactment person and they sort of bringing that energy of what happened in the past to kind of spark that residual energy to come forward. So that was, I'm learning the terminology anyway, because I haven't studied up as much as I should on this stuff.
Well, you know what? This isn't really our forte. That's why we're bringing a pro in, to talk about it. I explained that to him, too. I mean, I've been involved in certain things here and there, little mini investigations, and I was like, this isn't our forte. Our forte is ufology, but this is such a huge interest for both of us because, let's face it, it's the ultimate unknown. It's the ultimate unknown. I mean, people can go around and say, this is what happens when you die, put some money in the basket. Put the lotion in the basket.
Maybe they'll recruit us in the recruitments,
right? But nobody really knows. It's one of those things like you don't know unless you've been there, right? Kind of a thing. And I think that people like Frank who go out and they collect this data, for some people it gives them solace, and other people it makes them really anxious because it's so varied. It's not black and white. It's so simple as to this is what it is and this is what it is. It could be one thing for one person, something for somebody else entirely. You could present the exact same data and evidence to one person, and they would interpret it completely different than the next person. So
it goes same as the ufology thing. I think it just depends on the person, individual receives it differently,
and processes it differently, and so. I know what I've experienced in my life, and I know people who have had very similar experiences, and we proved that, 2 shows ago. It was like there was a grandma theme, A lot of grandmothers like to go visit their grandkids after they pass,
because grannies take care of you, man.
Yeah.
The granny thing.
Yeah, I
wouldn't know what to do without my granny.
Yeah.
Love my granny.
Love you, granny. I didn't have one for very long, but I remember, she was awesome. So, but what I do remember of it, and I got a visitation from her. So, it is what it is. And yes, I've always been a very imaginative person, and I was a very high imaginative kid. But I know I didn't imagine that because I was so young. I don't think that was one of those things that I don't think it was in me. Because as far as I was concerned, she was still alive anyway.
Right.
What am I going to do that for? So anyway, this will be a good one, folks. We'll have Frank on for an hour or so, whatever he's comfortable with, really. If he wants to fill up the 2 hours, man, I'm totally down. The guy can talk, and he's a good speaker, and he has a lot of interesting things to say. So,
well, it's funny, watching the shows that we do. I'm Ghost Adventures guy. Love it. Love the show.
It's a fun show to watch.
I mean, if you look at it, you see Ghost Adventures, it's like watching the Super Bowl. You watch Taps, it's like watching golf. It's 2 different things. I don't get the excitement from it.
That's the one with that Jason. Jason.
Right.
Something rather. I think they pull a better investigation and they keep it together better. They're not crying and screaming and running, jumping out of friggin' fire escapes. You know what I mean? They keep it really calm and cool. They'll collect about the same amount of data, which is,
I saw another one too. It was called what the hell was it? Ghost Lab.
Yeah, those are the guys that they're almost belligerent. You know what I mean?
It wasn't too bad. I mean,
the one episode I saw, they were like, "Come on, man!" He was like challenging the ghost to a fight to the death in the cage match. Let's go in the octagon, ghost. Kind of a thing. And I was just like, man, show some respect. You might actually get some responses that you want.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, there was this creepy area. They were in some castle, and it was Satan's chair or Satan's den or something they were in, and there was this chair, and I'm like, obviously that chair was put there for a reason, and it wasn't for you to sit in it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's not a good idea. I wouldn't sit in it. I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, that's how you get ratings, and that's another thing that Frank and I discussed, and he didn't mention any names or any shows. He was very cool about it, that he just said there's some people out there that, are willing to do anything to get ratings. And he wasn't specific, but I kind of read between the lines. But I don't know for sure. It's not my forte.
Right.
But
well, like I said, one's like watching the Super Bowl, and one's like a golf match.
Right.
It just kind of drags on.
I like the Ghost Hunters. I think they're called Ghost Hunters, right? The TAPS guys.
Right, TAPS guys, I think.
They get good stuff too. I think it's comparable to what Zach and them get on Ghost Adventures, but they're cool and collected. They're not, you know what I mean? They're not like overly excited and freak out. And I've never even seen them jog because they were freaked out. I've seen them freaked out, but they're like, okay, let's buckle down.
Right.
And I don't know. I guess I respect that more. But yeah, Ghost Adventures is pretty fun to watch. I mean, entertainment value.
Yeah,
me and my family. We sit there and we'll watch it together as a family.
You can't not like the Zach gig. I mean, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah. I like it.
Right. Well, a lot of people do, man. It's been around since like 2006 or something like that, or 2005.
But I also respect the real teams that go out and do this because of the fact that they're putting a lot of money, a lot of time,
their own money,
and this it's not a cheap thing to get involved with. Any type of investigative work, regardless of whether it's paranormal or what. But yeah, especially guys with some time and experience under their belt, and they've seen some things, done some stuff.
Done some stuff. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick little break to see if we can get Frank Madrid on from the Arizona Paranormal Research Society. He is the founder and a co-founder, and he's the head of the beast, if you will, for their investigation team. Fox News just did a piece on them down there in Phoenix, and I'd like to ask him how that went too.
Nice.
So we'll go ahead and be right back with you. You're on KouvRadio.com. You are in the rabbit hole.
Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch.
Now you have allowed us to coordinate, made up a chemical in every corner of the globe. Now you can drive our every day.
You take the blue
Americans
pill.
meet their responsibilities.
The story ends.
Their families.
You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to.
Time and again, they
You take the
lend a
red
hand to
pill.
their neighbors.
You stay in Wonderland,
Get back to their country.
and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. That was a tune there by James and his buddy Gabe.
Yeah!
Is what that was right there. It's called Vote with a Bullet.
Yeah, it's a little cover song we did from a band called Conformity of Conformists.
Conformity of Conformists?
No, it's Corrosion of Conformity.
Oh, yeah, okay.
They're like, they're one of those cool rock bands back in the day that was heavy, kind of underground heavy,
Right. Well, speaking of which, we got our guest on here, Frank Madrid. He plays a little guitar. This guy used to tour, used to do some touring, he used to do some gigging.
Nice.
Down in Arizona and stuff. So, you with us, Frank?
Yes, I am. How you doing, John?
Hey, nice to talk to you again, buddy. I'm doing good, man. Glad to have you on here. This is Frank Madrid from the Arizona Paranormal Research Society. This is the head of the beast, if you will, and it's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure to be on. I appreciate the invite. Thanks, man.
Yeah, anytime. So, Frank, how many years have you been doing this type of work?
Well, with the group, started it in 2006, but I've been experiencing the paranormal since I was 9 years old, and I'm quite the old fart right now, but it's been a long time, and since 2006, we've just, leaps and bounds on information and experimentation on different ways to communicate, and it's been an ongoing thing, and I don't think it's ever going to stop, really.
No, as long as there's people, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean we are vessels. That much I am certain of. I don't have the experience that you have in this field, but I've got a lot of personal experience with this stuff. So I mean, I know for a fact it's real, and I know that when we go, it's not just the worms crawl in, the worms crawl out. That may happen with the physical machine you leave behind, but we definitely move on. I mean, there's no question in my mind. And I
agree with you completely. I mean, there's just because of the evidence that paranormal investigators get. I mean, the question always is there of where is this coming from? Mm-hmm. I mean, is it a consciousness that has survived the body? I mean, purely energy, of course, but it's just phenomenal the way that these digital recorders and analog recorders can pick up voices from beyond. I mean, you get intelligent answers to questions that it's just mind-boggling. I mean, it's my favorite subject, the EVP. I mean, it just floors me every time I get one.
Right.
So what is the difference between just a regular EVP and a real-time EVP?
Real-time EVP is where you're hearing it right as it happens, when it happens. Most common EVP are the kinds that the recorders will pick up and that you don't hear right away, but the sound is there and the recorders pick it up, and when you play it back, it plays the EVP back.
Well, it's probably seldom, isn't it, Frank, that you hear audibly with your own ears and the equipment at the same time? Is that rare? Is it most common you find it later when you're breaking all your investigation
like a
down?
Disembodied voice? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, it is a rare thing. We were experimenting with administering different types of energies at different combinations and different levels into the environment of the reported haunted activity, and it did make a difference as far as boosting their energy to communicate with us. We've got some EVP that are direct responses, intelligent responses to our questions, answers to our questions, and it's just rare to be able to. Well, I can tell you one instance. We were at this home in Tucson, and I kept hearing like a voice coming from the closet. I opened the closet door, and we were communicating. It only took like 3 or 4 words, but we were actually hearing the voice coming from the closet, and there was nobody there. And it was in a home that, wasn't attached to another apartment or another home or anything like that. It was just a house, and there was a little kid's voice coming from the closet saying, "Who are you?" and what are you doing? And it's just phenomenal. I mean, that's a real rarity. But when we were experimenting with these energy devices, we did, in fact, were able to hear in real time the EVP as it was happening.
Now, before we get into all the current stuff, I think it's important that people hear what got Frank Madrid into this type of stuff. When you were 9 years old, you had a friend, and you told me the story yesterday on the phone, and made my blood turn into ice. So why don't you tell the listeners that little story, because that probably was like your biggest. Wasn't that like the instigator that kind of got you pointed in this direction?
Yes, that was the turning point in my life, and it's held with me ever since. I lived in National City, and I was kind of a lone kid, but there was this kid that lived in the house on the corner. Now, I got to tell you about this house. It was a 2-story building, and all the windows were boarded up, all the doors were boarded up, and there was one door on the second floor that just led to nowhere. It was just a door up there, no porch, no nothing. It was just a door. And when I was playing with this kid, we'd play, army. We'd run around, and his grass in the backyard was really tall, so it was kind of fun back there. And I never saw any other kids over there. And so, we kind of started talking, and, we just went from there. And when I was telling you this story, I neglected to tell you what he was wearing. He was wearing a red and white striped shirt, blue jeans, and the black high-top Converse with the ball on the sides, those?
Yeah, old school Converse.
Yeah, Converse, yeah. He always had the same clothes on. I figured he was just poor, But anyway, the thing that got me was he wasn't able to ride my bike when I brought it over for him to ride. He wasn't able to pick up anything or anything like that. He was just, we would just actually talk and, laugh and all kinds of stuff and just play. But one day he found an axe, and, he was trying to get me to chop some wood, and I told him, no, I don't want to do it. You do it. He goes, no, I can't. And he goes, why don't you do it? And it's like, all right, I'll chop this log. And there's this little log on the ground, and I started whacking away at it, and I kind of missed, and it hit the gravel, and it shot some gravel up into my eye and bounced around in there and just totally destroyed my retina. And all I saw was white with little globs of red blood inside my vision, and I took off screaming, running home. But the thing that got me is this laughter that followed me all the way to my house. It was just the most horrid laughter I've ever heard, and it followed me all the way home. And ever since then, I haven't seen that kid or anything like that. But to this day, I have lost my sight in my eye, and I've had it replaced with a prosthetic one. And it was quite an ordeal. This got me really involved with, what's going on there, because the house that I was living in, we were having all kinds of things happening there, and I just could not understand what was going on. I heard of Casper the Friendly Ghost on TV, but it's not the person that's running up and down the hallways late at night or knocking things over or playing my guitar in my room in the closet, just strumming the strings just wildly for no reason. I was a pretty frightened little kid. I didn't know what the hell was going on, but it got me involved with, researching and trying to, go to the library and getting all these books about ghosts and finding out what they were all about. And back then in the 60s, they really didn't know that much. You know what I mean? They just had strange pictures and that kind of thing. They didn't have the EVP. They didn't have all the other stuff, and I'm sure it was around back then. But with the electronic recorders that we have these days and all the technology, we're able to pick these things up. You know what I mean?
It was really taboo then, too.
I've heard some people saying that, these recorders are just picking up wild frequencies. Well, wild frequencies don't answer your questions,
Right.
So.
Right. So, anyway, the premise of that story is, the assumption is that kid had already passed on. I mean, it took me a few minutes as he was telling his story, and I was just like, "Well, that's why the kid wouldn't ride his bike. That's why the kid wouldn't, play with a toy rifle he might have handed him or something." Or,
Right.
I mean, the kid couldn't do it, and it's
And when I realized that too, I mean, it just freaked me out. It's like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
It dawned on me my childhood friend was not alive,
Right. And do you think that, another assumption is that kids are more attuned to this type of activity because they haven't been taught the prejudices and they haven't been taught you know what I mean? They don't have there's no taboo or anything attached, a stigma attached to it for kids. Do you believe in that they can see it better than adults, or do you think a person either has it or don't have it?
Well, you can look at the psychological aspect of it all, whereas they haven't been programmed not to accept that kind of thing as being for real. If something, well, I'll give you an example. Like the house that I was in, when I was sitting there watching TV, I'd always look at the show that was going on top of the coffee table. The glass would slide across the table. The ashtray would spin. My father had made a little gun turret model out of a shell casing of a big, huge. It was ammunition shell, and it had a little turret on it. And you crank the little crank, and the turret would spin around. Well, that thing was spinning around, and I'm just looking at this stuff, and then it would just like I thought this happened all the time. I thought this was commonplace.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ashtray is a huge ashtray, starts sliding across the table, and it gets to the end, and then it goes over the end, and just the very edge of this ashtray was on the table, and the rest of it was just hanging in midair. And this happened like 3 or 4 times. Every time I try to grab it, it would just fall to the floor, and I get blamed for it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, yeah, the last time it happened, I tried to be real quick and grab it, but no, it won again,
So
and it's just crazy.
It seems to be a common
Really,
theme that people have this happen to them or some sort of experience. They don't just go, you know what? I'm going to start investigating paranormal activity. Just
most
why
people,
not?
Yeah, most people bury their head in the sand.
There's something going. They've had some sort of profound experience with this stuff to make them that curious to get involved with this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's a lot of people that don't even recognize a paranormal experience as being one. They just blow it off. Oh, that thing fell over. That's no big deal. Well, it's in a position where it can't fall over. Why did it fall over? Why did that dish come out of the cabinet that was closed and land on the floor with the cabinet door being open now? I mean, there's a lot of things that are unexplained, and people just blow it off like, no big deal, I'll just clean it up,
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a lot of people that don't want to think that it's anything, paranormal. So,
right.
You've got the people that don't want to believe in it, and deep down they know that there's something going on, but they're not going to admit it to themselves, so they don't want to scare themselves. And it can be frightening. People that tell you that ghosts can't harm you, well, they're kind of wrong, because they can put you in situations. They can create situations that will cause harm to you.
Mm-hmm.
They can knock you down the stairs by putting something that's right in your step as you're stepping, and you slip and fall and tumble down the stairs. I mean, like this kid, he set me up for my accident to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, and he laughed about it afterwards, and
Right.
it's kind of, to this day, it kind of pisses me off a little bit, but, what it is, it's what it is, and that's, it's part of the paranormal stuff that happens, it's one of those things.
Right. Yeah, that is kind of weird. Now, you said that you had failed to mention the kid was wearing a red and white striped shirt, and when you
kind of Dennis the Menace-y.
When you took that gravel in your eye,
Yeah.
You saw red and white in the eye. Was there significance there, or do you think that was just?
Well, I think that was just my retina just shutting down,
Okay.
and the what's left, the light coming through, that the rest of my retina was picking up was just the blood inside of my eye.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's what I think that was.
All right. I just kind of.
But yeah, then I brought up what he was wearing because it kind of dawned on me many years later that, wait a minute, that kid always had the same clothes on, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just really strange. Maybe he was just poor or what, and I have no idea. I asked him, you know, with all the doors being all boarded up and everything, how do you get in your house?
Right.
Oh, and he points up to the door up there. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I got a 20-foot vertical, don't you? You know?
Yeah, about that, huh?
You're not the only person. I mean, we've all heard of people, and some listeners out there, you may have had an imaginary friend that you could see. And my wife's sister had an imaginary friend, I guess. And she would explain this other kid like plain as day and like matter-of-factly, I guess, and say, well, don't you?
Are we talking Jeopardy at 5 or?
Jeopardy. What the heck? Oh, we're going to call her. So, you know, it's interesting. I never had any of that kind of stuff. I kind of wish I had, you know, but I've had a plethora of other things happen, but nothing quite like that. Now, you've been doing investigations since you said 2005, wasn't it 2006?
2006, right. Well,
Okay.
in 2005, I was with a group that was based back east, and I had all of Arizona to do. And, you know, it's just weird because in the paranormal community, there is a lot of drama, and I just couldn't stand it. You know, I mean, a lot of power struggles. I mean, you know, I couldn't take it, and me and my girlfriend, we formed our own group and broke away from that. And, you know, I have something on our website, and it's you know, if you want drama, here, click on this button. And it just loops around and just takes you all the same places over and over again, this and that, and it's just crazy. But I also have a, you know, no drama policy with all of our members and anybody else in the paranormal community. I mean, I've got former members who have gone off and started their own stuff, and they're still using our evidence as their own.
Right.
And so, you know, I'm not going to cause a big stink over it. You know,
Yeah.
You know, the karma happens, and you know they'll get theirs, and that's just fine. But I'm not going to make a big deal out of it.
Well, I think that's the honorable thing
I
to do.
I just don't deal with the drama.
Right. I think I commend you for that. I think that's a big deal. We got somebody who's been trying to call, pretty persistent. So I think we'll take him. They may have a question for you or something. Frank, are you okay with that?
Okay. Yeah,
right,
no problem.
Let's go ahead and take it, Wayne. Hello, you're on the Rabbit Hole with John Fogel, James Sweet. Hello, caller.
Hello. How often do you get diarrhea?
That's awesome. Well, that was a very persistent caller, and that was a great question. So
I don't know how to answer that because it comes and goes.
Wouldn't you have to mark it down on the calendar?
I mean, yeah,
that kind of thing. So sorry about that, Frank.
You killed me, man. You killed me.
Yeah, got sniped. So
apparently he had diarrhea of the mouth. So
right. Hey, just gargle some Imodium AD. That's what I would do. So yeah, you know, it is what it is, right? I mean, you got a live call-in show. It's going to happen, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So you were talking about some of the stuff that, you know, some people come up. They say they kind of pretend they came up with this new technology to do this and that, and one of those things that kind of always kind of tripped me out is the Jacob's Ladder. Could you explain to the listeners what a Jacob's Ladder is and what your personal experiences were with them?
Well, our tech guy, Randy, he made a Jacob's Ladder, and it was part of the experimental energy apparatuses that we have used before. And what it is a transformer that's stepped up to like about 100,000 volts, and you have two contact rods coming up. And it's just like in the old Frankenstein movies, you know, that little spark travels all the way to the top, it stops, then travels all the way to the top again. And it's putting out ions, it's putting out all kinds of different types of energy. But we have used that. We use that at the Gila County Jail out here in Globe, Arizona. And we have recorded some pretty compelling EVP using that. The only drawback about using that kind of equipment is the sound, you know. It kind of corrupts the audio a bit, but, you know, we're able to hear what is being said in the EVP. But, yeah, we got our buddy, he got zapped with that thing one time and knocked him to the ground, and we got the strangest EVP ever. I mean, it's just a woman saying, that's the last thing I told you. Now, when that happened, we were on a 600-acre ranch down here in South Arizona in a house that had the family burial plot in the backyard. Mm-hmm. And when we played this for the homeowner, she played it for her father, and it turned out, he freaked out. It turned out to be his ex-wife that passed.
Wow.
So he recognized that voice. And when we recorded that, it was just me, Randy, and Gino in the house, and that was it.
And
so
Gino,
there was no women inside at all.
And Gino's your brother, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. That's got to be kind of cool too. Doing those kinds of things with your brother. He seems like a pretty cool dude. My Angie said this guy will have you in stitches in about 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's my brother.
Yeah, he looks like a pretty funny guy. You look on the website, there's pictures of him, cigarette hanging out of his mouth, right next to a no smoking sign.
Yeah, his expression was priceless on that one.
Yeah, pretty good. Now, you have several members on your team, and some of them are pretty qualified, reliable type folks. You have law enforcement guys on there. You have people who work in the Department of Corrections. So you're obviously going for credibility, and I think that's cool too. You got people who are genuinely interested in it, but they also there's a credibility factor there, I think.
Yes, there is. At one point early in our history, we had up to 24 members. Now we're down to 8 members right now. Mm-hmm. Now the reason being is it took a while to weed all these people out, and what happens is that they come up to you and they say they're interested, they've been interested, and they want to do this, and they want to learn. We bring them on, and it turns out that they just wanted their face on the website, and that's pretty much about it. Wow. No contributions as far as equipment or any captured EVP or video or anything like that. It's just one of those things, and
right.
And so the people that we have now are great and very respectable, and I would go to the deepest, darkest haunted cave there is in the world with any of them,
right?
Because we all have each other's back.
Yeah, I think that's important. You have it seems like if you have a smaller group of reliable people, you have that unit integrity, and so you can trust one another better, and it just works more smoothly.
Right.
Now,
right.
Back to that Jacob's Ladder, you actually got an EVP where you guys, I can't remember how you worded it, but you kind of asked in general, can you use the Jacob's Ladder to manifest yourself? And you got a strange message, a response from that. Can you tell us about that?
Well, the thing is with the energy research, we've been using these devices for many years. Before any of the ghost shows started using their little EV pump boxes or whatever.
Yeah.
That runs off 9-volt batteries. Ours is pure energy as far as electrical energy coming right out of the outlets, 110 volts. Bumped up to 100 grand, and and the thing about using that, we have our questions, our questions are answered about what this stuff will do, and a lot of the EVP, it's kind of weird as we ask how they feel about this energy, and we've gotten EVP responses saying that it hurts. Now, with that being said, if we're hurting spirits on the other side by using these energy devices, that's not cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be like somebody from the other side coming over here and zapping us with whatever power they have over there, just to get us to talk. And so we have stopped using the energy devices because we have morals. We care, and we don't want to be hurting any type of spirit, anybody's grandmother, anybody's grandfather, anybody's wife, a kid, or anybody who's passed on. We don't want to be hurting them.
Right.
So, we decided to stop doing that and kind of go towards the old school method of trying to communicate just by, doing what everybody has been doing, but just catering to specific questions to see if we can get intelligent responses.
Now that to me, that really freaked me out when you told me that this Jacob's Ladder, it sounded like a female voice saying, turn it off, it hurts. I mean, that is
right.
weird to me because the assumption is that when people pass on, you've transcended pain. You know what I mean? That's what people want to think. You've gotten you're kind of you're a spirit. So our stigma attached to that is that you're beyond the physical limitations we have here. You're beyond pain and suffering and all that kind of thing. But that clearly isn't the case. I mean, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. It seems that we ask questions to try to figure out and try to see if they can tell us what it's like on the other side.
Right.
And to this day, we haven't had anything that says, well, it's dark over here, or there's light over here, or any kind of, it's warm or it's cold. Nothing.
Right.
They don't want to give out that information. So, I'm thinking that one of their rules is over there is not to let us know what their rules are. So,
and that's so frustrating too. It's so frustrating,
It is in a way, but it's still every time you think you have some question answered, 10 more pop up, and then it just keeps tripling and quadrupling the amount of questions that you have. And of course, you're not really getting the answers, but through the EVP, we're sensing that they do remember. They do remember the taste of things. They do remember, what it's like, pleasure. They do remember all that stuff. We got an EVP from a National Guard armory that we did here in Arizona.
Mm.
And this woman was extremely, she was having a great time, you can tell. And if you go to our website at www.tazps.com, go to the investigations, click on businesses, go down to the armory, click on that, and go through the EVPs, and you'll see moan, woman's moan, and that's exactly what she was doing.
Wow.
And it was a nice moan. It was a very nice moan,
Do we have that one here?
Is that in the database that you sent us?
No, it's not. I don't have that sent to you, but I can get it to you. And maybe the next show or something like that, just send it over to you, and you can have fun with that. But it's there. You can listen to it on the armory investigation.
Okay.
It's kind of scary. It's kind of weird because while we were using these energy devices, one of the EVPs that I did send you was, and I'm not sure. I haven't heard of any other group getting this kind of stuff, but we actually recorded two spirits talking to each other about us being there.
Oh.
And we got it twice. The first one was two women talking to each other, and the next one was two men talking to each other.
Wow.
So, yeah.
James just pointed something out to me that we actually have the EVP from the woman who's referring to the Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let's try and put this on, man.
All right. We'll see what happens here.
All right. We're experimenting with some technology here. Whoa, that was very clear. Again.
Yeah, that was it. Hurts. That was one of the ones we asked how the energy makes you feel, and that was down in Tucson. Is that number 12?
That was 11.
Was it 11?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that is disturbing, man. So again, it seems like some of these guys are using this stuff just to get ratings, and I hope they don't continue to use them because kind of like what we were talking about the other day, Frank, is it brings up ethical issues, It brings up issues of ethics because obviously, like you said, you don't want to hurt them and cause them discomfort. I mean, they've already passed on, you know what I mean? So
Go ahead. There's been a few shows where there actually makes this contraption with the Tesla coil and lightning bolts going all over the place in a cage and all this other crap, and it's just like, dude, come on, man.
Right.
What do you think you're doing?
Right. This is where I'm at on that. I don't think that they do require a large power source to manifest. I think they can if they want to, or if they realize they can. I think they just can do it. I don't think it takes an external source because it could, because she
I
sounds
agree
like
with you
she's not into it.
Because without the energy devices, they're doing it anyway.
Right.
But the thing about this is when we were using those, we were getting more responses. I mean, there's a page on our website where we were at one place where we got over 40 EVP crystal clear, and it's just like, oh my God, this seems to be working really good, and we got all excited. And when I started grouping all of our EVPs and everything, I'm noticing, why do I have 30 EVP that say it hurts from different locations?
It's like more of a catalyst anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was kind of strange,
Now you're doing mostly commercial places now, right? I mean, you're kind of getting away from residential.
Now. Yes, we're a lot of times we're trying to avoid people calling us from out of town, spending $200-$400 getting everything together, going down there only to find out that there is a ghost hunting party at their house, and we're the entertainment.
Wow.
You're the entertainment.
That's happened quite a few times, and it's just like, no, we can't do this. You guys are watching football. You're having a pool party, a barbecue. You want us to investigate your house right now with 50 people around?
Wow. That's got to be frustrating.
Oh, man.
Yeah, total loss of money,
Right.
And it's so we're, we will help the people that are, for sincere, that they really need help. We have a 54-question interview that will let us know what, if they're sincere or not. And trying to, I know they're gonna slip through every now and then, but we still are here to help the people, and if they really need our help, we'll go there. And like you were saying before, a lot of times they are just so relieved to sit down and tell somebody what's going on, and that person's not going to judge them and think that they're crazy or anything like that. I mean, that's a relief in itself. And then when we do go through the investigation and we do have evidence to show them and let them listen to, I know how it sounds weird, but they're kind of relieved to know that, yeah, they are not going crazy. They are hearing something. Here it is on recorder, So, then there's other options they can do to try to rectify the situation. One thing we don't do is we don't advertise to get rid of ghosts or spirits or anything like that. We want to provide the client with a service to let them know that yes, there is you aren't going crazy, you are hearing voices, so, and that in itself is a big relief for them because they feel so ashamed they can't even tell their family, they can't even tell anybody, so it's all bottled up on the inside. And just for them to sit down and talk to us for an hour or two, beforehand, just to get everything out, I mean, you can tell the difference between when we first get there and after we leave. It's a relief for them.
So do you present them with some sort of document or certificate saying yes, it's official, your place is haunted?
No, we don't give them any document, any certificates like that. No, we try to keep everything calm and cool, and we sit there and when we reveal everything that we've gotten, we play one EVP, we talk to them about it, what we think it might be, if they can recognize the voice or anything like that, and so we go through them one by one, and until the homeowner understands, what the EVP is all about. I mean, we've got some EVP that, there's no way you're going to be able to put it on the air. Well, maybe you can, but I'm just saying, when the television news group came out here, I couldn't even play it for them because it was just so raunchy. I mean, we've gotten cussed at, we've gotten, told where to go, told to F off. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
We got some of that, right?
Yeah, did you send any of that to us?
I think I got some with some for unlawful carnal knowledge.
Yeah, well, you know what? We are not regulated by the FEC. We're a .com. We're a pike. We can say whatever the F we want.
Let's play this one. See what's going on here.
So here comes one, folks. Listen up.
It's me. I just sat in the chair.
Oh, I heard the F-bomb there at the bottom.
Yeah, there's a few of those. I mean, I've got a whole bunch of them. I sent you, I tried to send you a variety of different ones that we've gotten as far as samples are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, we can do a show on Raunch, and you can hear the rest of the bad stuff.
I like it.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's rabbit hole material right there.
Hey, wait. We got one more here. I gotta slam this one out.
All right.
I love this stuff. EVP's cool.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What happened?
Which one was that one?
That was the FU one.
Huh. I couldn't hear it.
I can hear it. It's barely there.
What number is it?
It's number 7.
Oh, there it was.
Oh, yeah, that one says FU all. That's right.
Yeah.
That's where we got the really raunchy one down there in Tucson.
That bothers me too.
Just mean.
It bothers me. And I'll tell you why. It bothers me because, like I said, I want to believe that when you die, you transcend human emotions. You're not transcend it. I mean, you still have love and compassion and all that, but clearly some people still have anger, frustration.
Oh yeah, John. I'll tell you what. If you were a mean old man in this life, you're a mean old man in the next. I'm telling you, because that's your programming. That's your programming from birth to death. That's the end result of everything that you've lived through your life, and that's how you are then. And then when you transcend to the next level, I mean, that's your starting point, and it's kind of sad,
It is. What do you think's after that, Frank? Obviously, you've spent years thinking about this, rolling around in it. I mean, what do you think? Is it a transcendence? Are you like in a transition? I mean, and then you move on to the light, Caroline, go to the light kind of a thing. I mean, what do you think it is? Are they just stuck?
Well, there are some that I believe are stuck. I mean, you can be driving down the road, get T-boned by a semi, and next thing you know, you're in the same area, but nobody can hear you or acknowledge your presence. You can't touch nothing. Then comes a point where you realize you're dead. Some people don't realize that they're dead. They just kind of go through the motions because their head's all screwed up because of whatever their life experiences were, and then they're placed now, and it's just kind of strange because it's one of the questions that that everybody's asked about dying. I mean, are you stuck? Are you here? Are you there? There's a lot of geological factors that are involved because in certain areas, just the geology around the area, the quartz, the silica, I mean, all this stuff they're making memory chips out of and everything like that. They retain energies that have happened, and if you have a tragic thing happen to you, I mean, of course, your adrenaline goes, everything's happening in your body, and then you're gone. And that energy is recorded in the environment. And I mean, then every now and then when the circumstances are just right and the environment levels are just right, I mean, that whole scenario will play all over again. And it's kind of like a recording, just plays over and over again. At a certain time, it's 3 o'clock, a lady gets up, walks down the hallway, goes into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she acknowledges nobody, she doesn't look at anybody, she's just there. Whoever's there can see her go right through. But what they're actually seeing is the energy being played back from the environment of what happened, what it recorded many years ago.
So that's a little different than getting an intelligent response. It's a little different type of spirit.
Yeah, it's almost like
energy-wise.
Yeah, it's like an energy loop. It's like in the space-time continuum. I don't want to go Star Trek-y or nothing, but it seems like we've talked about that on the Rabbit Hole before. Some things seem to be like a looping scenario that happens over and over again, and then other times the spirit is active with you and is able to give you intelligent responses and stuff like that. It's kind of like ufology for us. The more we know, the less we know.
Exactly.
It's frustrating as hell, but we still need people like you out in the field doing what you do, and we appreciate it, man, because we know it's a lot of hard work, and you sacrifice time with your family to go do these types of things, and it's just, I don't know, man. Hearing people talk like that, the FU and all that kind of stuff bothers me more than anything else, because again, I wanted to just believe that you're moving on. You're no longer that person you were when you were in the body. You're better. But clearly that isn't always the case.
Clearly they haven't moved on yet. They're still kind of, maybe it's not time for them to do that. Maybe it's not time for them to move on, and they're pissed off because they can't, they can't get to the next level. So I've got I sent you some kids, okay? Number one is a child saying hi, and it was clear as day. And the thing is, it was just me, Randy, Gino, and the homeowner's woman, and no kids around at all. And she just pops up and says hi.
Well, here, we'll go ahead and play that for the listeners. Here's it sounds like a really small, we heard this earlier, a very small child saying hi. Just listen closely. Pretty clear. Let's do it again, James.
All right.
What is that water we're hearing? It sounds like a kid in a bathtub.
That's ambient noise that was around.
Okay.
We've got the energy devices going, so that's kind of going to give you a hum and everything like that, and it's just the recorder picking that stuff up.
Now, Andy and I discussed this type of stuff when we had her. She called in a couple weeks ago, and we discussed this, and that just really bothers me that small children are stuck. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is very heartbreaking. Number 18 is heartbreaking, too.
18? Oh, boy.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I'm going to need some antidepressants after this show. All right, here we go. Wow, that is disturbing. That child was screaming bloody murder in the background.
Oh, I've never heard a kid scream like that. Now, that was my girlfriend Lori and the homeowner. They were just having a conversation. There was no kids in the house, and they're both moms. Now, if they heard a kid screaming like that, they're not just going to sit there and blow it off and continue talking. They're going to go, find out what the hell's going on.
Right, the maternal instinct's going to take over.
Right, but nobody heard that screaming in there, and that was just kind of strange. Now, here's one that'll probably be kind of creepy for you. If you go to number 17,
okay,
that was recorded in the same home, in the bathroom, when nobody was there.
All right, here it comes. All right, here we go.
Like Mama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that sucks. I mean, it's good work on your part, but God, that is so Depressing. And now you alluded earlier, and I've thought about the same kind of stuff, but what? Oh, so we have a blogger who wants to know if that was all in the same house, the baby, the children.
The baby screaming and the baby talking like that? Yeah, it's in the same house.
Okay. Well, you alluded earlier that maybe a sudden traumatic death could make that imprint where there's confusion and then they're not able to move on. So is it your contention that if, say, someone is has a prolonged illness and they're able to make peace with it and move on, they know it's coming, it's easier for them to transition than it would be for some? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
And I can use the scenario with my grandmother when she was, she was almost 100 years old, and it was time for her. And there was a few things that led up to her passing, and one of them was that we heard the door open and walked out there, and my grandmother was walking down the sidewalk. And what happened was we went over to get her, and she said that her sister came to get her, and her sister was there,
Yeah.
And her sister had passed about 2 months before. So that was kind of strange. We brought her back in, and the next, I guess it was the next week or so, my son and I were in the back bedroom watching TV, and we both looked at each other because we heard the family in the kitchen making food, laughing, clinking dishes, and this and that. They were thinking it's 11 o'clock at night. Who is that? And we open the door, and we listen, because we know, everybody else is asleep. And so we were walking down the hallway to the noise of people laughing. It's kind of like if, the family's around making tamales or something like that. But we got to the kitchen, and all the noise stopped, and there's nobody there.
Wow. That's crazy. Hey, we're starting to have a little bit issue with the phone quality. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, Frank, and we'll call you back before we come back on.
Get a clean connection.
Yeah, get a clean connection. You're listening to the Rabbit Hole, KouvRadio.com, with special guest Frank Madrid from the Arizona Paranormal Research Society, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
This big machine has crawled out of the ground, started torturing everything. He's killing us right now. Great.
9/11 was not an inside job.
You mean like Europe?
No, Robbie, not like Europe.
Let the games begin.
Why are you doing this?
We are bad men for the money.
Happy Hunger Games, and may the odds be ever in your favor.
I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. cannot smell or taste or touch.
Hello?
Values have allowed us to forge mates made up of immigrants from every corner of the globe. Values that drive our every day.
You take the blue
Americans
pill.
meet their responsibilities
The story ends.
to their families.
You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to.
Time and again,
You
they
take the
lend a
red
hand
pill.
to their neighbors
You stay in
and
Wonderland,
get back to their country.
and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
And welcome back to the Rabbit Hole. So, we got some cat from Tillamook calling us nonstop. And let's see here. His number, his last 4 digits are 6172. So, dude, unless you want me to give out your number on the air and have you pranked about 10 million times, I suggest you quit. So, moving right along. And I would do it, too. Oh, you want this? I'll be your reckoning.
You're not supposed to call here.
So, we're just going to get Frank back here and continue our interview with Frank Madrid. He is the head dude, the CEO of the Arizona Paranormal Research Society. And he's got some good stuff, man. We've been playing some EVPs, and we're going to continue to play more. He sent us a plethora of them. And the children ones are disturbing as hell.
Yeah. Well, I got a question for him too, and you know, it makes you wonder on the fact that if there's traumatic stuff going on in a home, that I would feel would draw in some sort of activity, because there's not always a place where somebody died in a house, or you know what I mean, or on top of a burial ground or something. So something has to draw in that energy some way, shape, or form. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of, you know, say something hasn't died necessarily, but that negative energy from that experience still remained.
Interesting concept, you know, that could be. I think that's a lot of the, oftentimes that's why people experience hauntings also, is because of the fact that something traumatic happened, and you know what I mean? Like, there's a really good instance of this. He has a friend of his, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was involved in, remember the movie The Entity?
Mm-hmm.
That movie scared the bejesus out of me as a kid. Now, Frank has alluded that a lot of that stuff was Hollywooded up, but there was this gal who had like some demonic entity chasing her around, and in that instance, it followed her from one house to another, I believe.
Right, which I hear is actually, you know, the case in some respects is there's attachments to people.
Right.
It's not just a house.
It's the person.
Right.
And I would like to. That's what I want to ask Frank when we get him on. Is I want to ask him about that, because why would that be?
I've heard,
if he ever investigated something like that, and found out who that person was that was attaching to the live person.
I've heard theories that sometimes this stuff goes on in other lifetimes as well. These attachments are like reincarnated over and over again. So, I mean, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's theories that I've
it makes sense.
Heard.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that totally makes sense. So it looks like we're going to try to get him here. Franco. The guy's easy to listen to, man. Very knowledgeable cat. So we talked about, like, you know, making friends, you know, the rabbit hole, and then Taspers, you know, being satellites for one another, and he's totally cool with it. So,
hello.
Hey, Frank, you're back with us on the rabbit hole, buddy.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, you sound good this time.
Good. Hey, you know what I did?
What'd you do?
I sent you the Ranch EVP.
Oh boy.
Did you?
Send it my way.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey.
You should have it, and yeah.
James has a question for you.
You bet.
Well, it's just kind of a theory or something, but when you have, say, traumatic experiences going on, maybe that residual energy remains. Obviously, there's places that are considered haunted that a person hasn't necessarily died in, or it's not, the house isn't on a burial ground or anything like that. So I'm just wondering if you've experienced, say, some residual energy from, say, somebody is still living, but like with some of these small children ones, the the traumatic experience was so profound that that residual energy remained there.
Yes. Now, on small children, they're just full of energy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get my 4-year-old to keep still for 1 second, So maybe that energy is so concentrated and just so abundant that it makes a very big impact on the environment that stores that energy. So that might be one way of putting it.
Right. Now, we were talking, what's your buddy's name? He was heavily involved in that movie, The Entity. He's like an authority on the subject.
Yeah, that was Dr. Barry Taff.
Okay. Now, can you kind of give people just a brief synopsis of that whole scenario there with that poor gal?
Well, they had gone out to do an investigation there, and it turns out that, all kinds of crap happened, man. All kinds of stuff was going on. They recorded lights shining in the room with no source. Voices, all kinds of stuff in there. And the movie is based off of this investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of stuff that happened to this woman. And how Hollywood is, and they kind of make it more appealing to the audience for the sake of money and everything like that, So, he's kind of how can I put it? He's glad the thing was done, but he's kind of mad the way they did it. You know what I mean?
Sure. That's kind of like that movie Fire in the Sky with the Travis Walton story.
Right.
Same thing with him.
Right.
That's in your home state there of Arizona. He was like, oh man.
Embellishment.
Right.
Right. Yeah, they embellished.
They have to make it scary.
Right.
Yeah. And for the movie's sake, I saw the movie. I thought it was a pretty cool movie, and that's the whole reason behind why they do things.
Right.
To make everybody think, oh, this is a cool movie. I'll see it. I'll buy it. I'll watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a money thing.
Now,
it's just,
in your experience, have you ever encountered anybody who has an entity or poltergeist activity that seems to be attached to the person and not the premises?
Well, let's see. There was a person down in Green Valley here in Arizona, really nice guy and everything like that, and he was going through all kinds of problems. He was going through hell. He had, these demons coming out of here, and this stuff happening over here, and all this stuff was being misplaced, and just making him crazy. Now, this is his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got down there, and we some of the things on our list is, what kind of medication are you taking? And he opened up his medicine cabinet, and we just about freaked. It was just full. And he had like 5 doctors that weren't communicating with each other. So he was prescribed all kinds of stuff that interacted with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, in his mind, he was going through, poltergeist things happening, and just all kinds of demonic things happening. But we suggested that, they get a hold of your doctors, let them all know what's going on. And after about 2 weeks, we talked to them again, and the demons were gone, the poltergeist activity had stopped, everything like that. So, but as far as our group, we've had some pretty evil things happen.
Mm-hmm.
There was a investigation in Scottsdale that my brother was attacked. He was pinned down to the ground. They wouldn't let him up. And electromagnetic field, the ambient electromagnetic field in the area was not that great, but on him himself, it was pegging the equipment.
Wow.
Now, humans don't do that. So something had latched onto him and was making his life hell. And then Angie got choked during that time too.
Wow.
It's on the Scottsdale investigation on our website, and we'll have some audio recording of the attack that was going on with Gino, and then Angie explaining what she was going through when she was being choked. And I've had investigators that were sitting down the floor with their backs against the wall, and I've watched both their heads go plopping forward, and they both looked at each other. Something hit them through the wall on the back of their heads, both of them at the same time.
Whoa.
Now, we did an investigation on the Queen Mary, and I had what they call a psychic attack, which is I couldn't breathe. My Adam's apple was being pushed into my throat so much that I could not breathe. I had this thing that was happening in my head, that there was all kinds of swishing sounds and laughter and just all kinds of things. And what my buddies did was they grabbed me and took me out of the room, and I started feeling a lot better, but there was something going on in there. And, it was, being choked by something that's not there. I mean, you may not feel two hands going around your throat and squeezing, but you can feel your Adam's apple being pushed into your throat so far that you can't breathe,
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Is do you actually feel fingers, but it sounds like it's not. It sounds more like
the pressure. I felt that.
It sounds like like a Darth Vader across the room choke. You don't feel the fingers, but there's some kind of force pressure on your throat. You felt that before, James?
Yeah, in the hotel. That was the old lady.
It's force pressure for sure. We were at an old bordello in Williams called the Red Garter Inn, and we were upstairs and I was sitting on the couch right there, and had a couple of investigators over there, and I heard this thump, and I felt it, and it was in my crotch, and my crotch got thumped 3 times while I was there, and you could hear it, boom, boom, boom. It was unbelievable. And we've got some crazy EVP out of there,
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that was the same place where we had followed an EVP field about the size of the 2-foot round sphere. It was just moving around the room, and we had all of our EMF detectors all around this place. One high, one low, one left to right, and we were constantly following this thing around the room. Now, electromagnetic fields, the spirits are made of energy, and they produce energy, they have energy, and they're able to manipulate the other energy that's in the room. Sometimes they take it to give themselves more to communicate or manifest or anything like that. But we were actually following this globe of electromagnetic field, just kind of circling the room left and right. And there's no way that can be man-made.
Right.
So if it's a man-made one, it's going to be constant. It's going to be right there in one spot,
Right.
There's a lot of things that happened. There was an investigation down at 3 Points where the woman was living in this big mobile home, and she was complaining about shadow people, hearing things, feeling dread, being just so overwhelmed with just fright and fear and anxiety and everything like that. And we took our detectors in there, and when we were doing our sweep, we found out that the wall that her headboard was at was just producing an ungodly amount of EMF. And so after we left later on that evening, and we told her all about this, we suggested that she got a qualified electrician out there to check her wiring in that wall. Turns out she had some really faulty wiring in that, and it was producing all kinds of havoc. And after the guy fixed all those wires, she was fine. Everything left.
So it would seem like that possibly electromagnetic frequencies are going to sort of be a catalyst for this. So with all of our cell phone towers and Wi-Fi signals now, you think this would, sort of produce this paranormal energy?
Well, if it's producing it, and it's also giving spirits energy to do more things. That's why, you can have a house and has wires. I mean, the overhead power wires going through it and everything like that on overhead, and things happen. It's weird. It's really weird. A lot of houses, in the old days where they didn't have overhead power lines, everything was really cool. Not really a lot of things happen that way. But if you give the energy to spirits that are in the area, yeah, they're going to use it. They're going to roam around. They're going to do stuff,
Yeah.
So.
Well, I got a question for you. What is the distinction between spiritual, just like a spirit of a deceased human being, and demonic? How do you make the distinction?
Well, basically, your demonic spirits have never been alive. They are just evil entities that are from hell that are just out to raise all kinds of havoc in your life. Now there are also some evil people who have died, who have left their presence in certain areas that where they are doing bad stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the EVP that I just sent you. Sorry about that. Excuse me. The woman there had a brother who was totally insane, and he was a molester. He was just a sexual fiend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when he died, he started messing around, in her house, opening and closing cabinet doors and this and that, and making little noises, and she was hearing voices and everything. And the recording that I just sent you is what we picked up at her house, and we didn't want to play it for her. I played it for her husband.
Okay.
And he, in turn, told her that was her brother, because he recognized the voice.
We have that EVP. James has it queued up right now, so let's go ahead and play it.
All right, here it is. I heard it. It's very faint, but
it's
I heard
a male
it.
voice.
It's kind of hard to hear, over the phone right here. But yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell the audience what it's saying?
We'll try it one more time. We're going to turn it up here.
Yeah, here goes one more time. Sounds like you're saying I'm going to take my shoes off?
No, what I have here is, then I said, Dahlia, fuck it, I wish she would suck my cock.
No, whoa. Because I swear I thought I was hearing, I got to take my shoes off. And I was like, what? I mean, there's no doubt there's an audible male voice there. Where did you you found this? Where? Which?
This was in Tucson.
Because this sounds like something you'd hear in the bordello.
Yeah, well, this is how that guy was. He may have molested her when she was smaller.
Ooh.
And but we, when my girlfriend Lori does a interview with the homeowner. A lot of times the homeowner will just break down and let them know, past what's happened and this and that. And there's a lot of things that, they feel uncomfortable telling a male that's there. So we let her talk to the woman in confidence, in private, so that she would feel, a little bit easier in telling her what happened. And she was saying that, she said that she was molested by her brother. And when we got this, and I played it for her husband, it's like, that's him. That's
bless
his
her heart.
voice.
Poor thing. That's just, and so was she, when you did this investigation, she was present? Was she there?
Yeah, she was present. Right.
And it was in the house where these molestations took place?
It wasn't in that house. I think it was in her childhood home. But
you
this thing has been following her ever since that he died.
Bastard. Now, what?
Yeah.
We had a blogger ask earlier. What, Frank? Do you have a means of directing people to get help to rid their homes of these spirits that they don't want around?
Well, there's a lot of things that are involved with doing so.
Okay.
One of the basic things is if there is some problems going on there, I mean, a lot of things have to do with your own faith, the individual's faith.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they're Catholic, then it's very difficult to get a priest to come out and do house blessings, people blessings, and everything like that. But it's not uncommon for them to do so. So it depends on, if they're a regular churchgoer and they know their pastor and everything like that, and the pastor will, would be more than happy to come out and bless everybody and bless the house and everything like that. Mm-hmm. If it gets demonic in a certain way, then it is extremely difficult to get a priest to come out to do an exorcism, because it's got to be passed by all of the bishops and
the hierarchy.
What have you. Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's a very difficult thing for that to happen. There's a lot of ways you can calm things down, and one of the ways is saging your house,
mm-hmm.
Saying prayers in your house, and basically not letting them know that you are fearful. And you have to, stomp your foot on the ground and say, look, this is my house. I don't want you here. You have to really take control of the situation and not show any fear, because it's a vicious circle. They'll
mm-hmm.
scare you so you can be afraid, and your fear, emotion, energy they can take
off of that.
And gives them more energy to scare you even more, and it just goes back and forth and back and forth. If you finally just take control and empower yourself with your faith and your love of life, and just be the person that they don't want to be around.
Why do you think? Why do you think the priests have that much political, nonsense hoops that they jump through to go through this? You think if there's some sort of substantial evidence that gives them credence to go in and do an exorcism, why all the hoops?
I have no idea, because there's very few priests that actually are licensed by the Vatican to go out and do exorcisms.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why it's so difficult. Because if they need the evidence, that's what we try to go out and provide the homeowner with.
Mm-hmm.
So that they can take the next step and see them. We talk about what they want to do. Do they want to contact the church? If they do, we have the evidence that we've recorded
mm-hmm.
on this investigation that you can show them and let them know that there's something going on in your house.
Right. That's what I was going to say was you would be the kingpin in that, because, just like you probably get calls from kooks, or people who are over-medicated, like you were talking about earlier. I'm sure that the Catholic Church and other denominations get calls from kooks, just people who are crazy. So they probably have no weeding out process. But I think the work you do would eliminate that for a lot of people. You'd be like, well, if you don't believe me, listen to this. And then that would make them go, oh, well, hell, yeah, there is something going on here.
Just call John Constantine.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, if they have a medical problem with the medication or something like that, we're more than happy to point it out
mm-hmm.
and get some literature about the interactions and the symptoms of what's happening. And a lot of the symptoms, it sure seem like a lot of paranormal activity.
Right.
But explaining this, it took a little bit to explain this to this guy, where you're not being possessed. There's no demons here that we can get any proof of, but there's something that about your medication,
And we approached it very calm and collected. And my brother, he's got his master's in psychology, and so he knows about the medication issues and the interactions that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so we use that to our advantage. And he would talk to the person about the interactions that could occur, and for the client's own health, to go ahead and have doctors take a look at this and make sure all the doctors that he has contact each other about the medication they're prescribing, because most of the times they don't,
Isn't that weird?
Doctors will prescribe stuff. Yeah.
Here we are in 2014, and this stuff still happens. It's like, the left hand isn't talking to the right hand, and that's a big deal, man. You mix prescriptions and medications, boy, you're done. My wife, in her, she's a social worker, tells me about people who are mixing and the doctors aren't communicating, and they have some traumatic experience that happens to them, usually physically, but it's just amazing that stuff still happens. Now, Frank, do you have any?
Right, and I'm sorry, but the experiences that they do have while they're on this conflicting medication, that stays with them forever.
Sure.
Because it is a traumatic experience, and then trying to deal with that as you're straight and off of the medication, that thought is still in your head. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it takes a lot of work to really clear everything out.
I want to get more of these EVPs out on the air. Do you have any in particular you think we should play right now? Like, do you have you got your list out?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know, because the last one that I hope that the audience can hear it on the radio. I mean, on the radio, but it's just kind of strange because it's hard to hear them. I don't know why.
Well, what about the classic Get Out? We got a classic Get Out here.
Oh, yeah, we get those all the time.
Let's let her rip, man. Here it comes.
I like the Get Out.
Get Out.
That's Eddie Murphy.
Yep. Ooh. That was clear as a bell. That was very clear.
Yeah. Now, the noise you heard in the background, that's one of the energy devices that we have. That's 100,000 volts going in the atmosphere right there.
Wow, that's craziness.
But how about here's a direct response to what one of the investigators said. Number 10.
Number 10. Yeah, I was looking at that one. Here we go.
I hear the hurricane.
Whoa.
Because I can.
Or no, it's just, yes, I can?
Because I can.
Because I can, hun.
Oh, wow.
Here, we'll try it again.
Here it comes again.
I hear the hurricane. Because I can.
Holy crap. That's one of those mean spirits there, huh, Frank?
Yeah. Here's, let me see, number 5. They were talking about, life, and whose life it is and stuff like that. And, we got an EVP that says, "Get out of here, it's my life."
Here we go. Here it is.
What's your life? What is your life?
Trust is much used the way I see fit.
Well, you're definitely wrong.
Ooh, yeah.
Right there at the end there.
Yeah, right at the end it is. Man.
So it seems like you kind of, provoke a little bit. Use a little bit of provoking.
Well, at that time, there's something going on. She was picking up on the anger that the spirit there had. And this woman, we got a lot of EVP that was very hateful towards this woman. Mm. There was a lot of raunchy stuff in there towards this woman and everything like that. And she was saying that the spirit wanted her life, And so, emotionally, when you're on an investigation and you've got a homeowner there who's really frightened because she's hearing this stuff. This woman was able to pick up. She was picking up what these spirits were saying before, after they were recorded on a recording, on our audio. We didn't even hear this, but she was picking it up in her head. And so this is, it kind of pissed off one of the investigators, and that's why he was doing that. But we don't provoke, but this spirit needed slap upside the head.
Yeah. Have you ever had, other than the chokings, I've seen it on TV in these shows, and I don't know if it's really happening or not, but I tend to believe it is, but where people get 3 scratch marks. They think that has something to do with the Holy Trinity or something like that. Have you ever, anybody in your group ever got the 3 scratches?
Gino got scratched. He also got a big red mark on the back of his back, and there was no reason or nothing, to cause that. So, but that happens to quite a few paranormal investigators. They get something physical that happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
I got a scratch on my leg one time, but a lot of time on scratches, you can get scratched accidentally and not even notice it till later, where it starts to burn and bother you, and then if you're sweating, it gets in there, starts burning, and then you think that, oh well, I just got scratched right now. Well, actually, you brushed aside, you brushed next to a tree about 15 minutes ago, and you don't remember.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to really discern, what is and what isn't. If you have a camera on a certain part of your body and all of a sudden 3 scratch marks happen, yeah, it's time to watch out, and it's time to really get serious about what's going on.
Right.
But it's kind of difficult to discern when exactly the scratches happen unless you see it happen right there.
Let's find another one, James. Pick another one out of the pot there. Let's do some more EVP stuff.
I got one for you. How about 2 spirits talking with each other?
All right, which one is that? What number you got?
Number 14.
14. Here we go.
Right. Now, we captured 2 women. This was at the Yuma Pump House. We actually captured 2 women. The first one says, "I am here." And the next one says, "Can you see them?" Then there's a little pause, and then you hear, "Yeah."
All right, here we go.
Did you say, "I'm not here"? Let's do it again.
I am here.
I am here.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Hey, we keep on getting someone calling here. I believe this is the guy who has the free tickets to a show that's coming up. His number is... No, ignore it for now. His number is 503-812-6172. He's got free tickets to some show he wants to give out. He'll give out those tickets to the 100th caller.
His name's Jack, I think.
Jack. It is Jack. That's 503-812-6172. So, let's see how many calls he gets now.
Okay, I've got another one for you. It is, let me see, right here. Okay, it was recorded at the same place, and these are 2 males. The first one says, "I'm scared." The second one says, "Why?" And then the first one says, "I don't know."
Got it.
Here we go.
Number 15.
I couldn't make it.
It's very faint. I hear it.
There's definitely something happening there, but I can't really tell exactly what that is. Can you translate?
It says "I'm scared" right about the first second after it starts.
All right, we'll try it one more time here.
Wow. Now, I was wondering, why does it always sound like they're whispering? Is that the translation from spirit to this? How come it very rarely, sometimes you hear them talk really clearly, like the one that says, "Because I can, hon." but most of the time it seems like they're whispering. Why is that, Frank?
There's different classifications, sort of EVP. You've got the whisper that doesn't have any vocal cord reverberation.
Mm-hmm.
You've got what sounds like talking underwater. It's kind of wavy, like a vibrato. You've got really deep, dark voices coming out, and you've got the what sounds like they're talking to you. Especially the female voices. You can tell males and females, really good, and they seem to be, the enunciation of their words is there, but perhaps they may not have the ability to, harvest the energy to project their voices more, because we're not talking about vocal cords vibrating in your throat. We're talking about mental energy coming out as far as answering questions and everything.
Well, it seems we get like accents sometimes, and you can really discern, like, say some Gettysburg stuff. You can hear the
Southern twang.
Southern twang, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got there's another one, number 2. Now, this is an example of a spirit knowing and saying they can hear me. And then there's nobody in the room, and then you hear investigators coming in and commenting about how cold it is right there in that spot that they just got. So the spirit was using the energy in that room, in that area, to communicate, to say what it was saying, and it made that room extremely cold right there. So that's what this EVP is all about.
Here we go.
Just in case, I'm going to set this other one right here. If you'd rather get near this one.
Oh my God, Randy, it's freezing right here.
Wow.
So that was very interesting about pulling the energy and making it cold in that spot, and that's exactly what happened right there. You're gonna love number 16. That was recorded at the Jerome Grand Hotel.
Oh.
Now, Ghost Adventures were up there a few years back, and they called Randy and I to go up there, so we got to be on their show for 5 minutes, and got to hear some EVP of them calling me a bastard and go to hell and all that stuff. But this is recorded in what we call the burn room. Now, the burn room was a room that's upstairs, and it was being renovated, and the material they had they were doing the renovation with kind of had that charcoal smell, and that's why we just call it the burn room, because we didn't know what else to call it. But it was a very clear response, and I'll just go ahead and let you play it.
All right. I don't think those other spirits were talking mean. I don't think they were mean. They were just Italian.
Yeah, it very well could be, because Grand Hotel had Italians, Chinese. They had all kinds of different nationalities working the mines up there.
Right. Yep, that's where the money was. Here it comes. Here we go.
Are you in that room with me? Are you in here?
Did it say here?
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty clear. Here. Weird, man.
That was just that was a response. Are you in this room with me? Are you here? And they said here. So they can hear us talking. They can answer. They understand that the communication that I was giving, and then they answered. Like I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's intelligence going on right there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Not residual.
Have you ever been on an investigation that it was kind of concluded that the reason they were having the haunting or whatever was because of the use of a Ouija board?
Oh, you know what?
Or do you not put a whole lot of credence in that?
80% of the investigation requests, the homeowners or the kids there, or somebody there, or even in a different house, they've used Ouija boards. Now, it's kind of phenomenal because of the amount of Ouija board usage that comes before a paranormal investigation. These people are dabbling in stuff that they have no idea what to do. They don't even know how to close the Ouija board right, so this stuff doesn't happen. You can conjure up anything. I mean, anything. They'll tell you, yeah, I'm your sweet departed grandmother who loves the death out of you,
Right.
So, and the person says, well, Grandma, you can come here and visit anytime you want. So there's the invitation right there, and then they're stuck with it.
Yeah, it's almost like inviting a vampire in. They can't come into your house until you invite them in. It seems to be the same kind of rules.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But, we get a lot of investigations that people have used Ouija boards.
Yeah.
And, the Scottsdale one, I think that was one that it was a prime example right there when the two investigators got attacked and all this stuff was happening. And the homeowner lied in the very beginning. Her and her fiance, they were just about to get married, and he did not know that she had practiced witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a cauldron and all kinds of little trinkets in there and stuff, and he had no idea. And she lied to us and said that, she never did any of that stuff. And lo and behold, she did. So.
Wow. Well, hey, we got to wrap this up. We got the metal show is going to be coming on here next. So, Frank, it was awesome. 2 hours flew right by with you on board here.
I don't think we're going to have time to take Dylan's call.
No, we're not going to be able to take Dylan's call. What's his last name?
Sorry, Dylan.
Yeah. Hey, Dylan, you're going to get a lot of phone calls over the next few days, so you may want to keep your phone on the charger because it's going to run out of juice, pal. But hey, Frank, man, you're awesome. Why don't you real quick give out your web address again?
It's www.tazps.com.
There you have it. Hey, we had Frank Madrid on. I wish we had 4 hours. We could have filled it all up. That being said, we want to thank you for listening, all the listeners on KouvRadio.com here in the Rabbit Hole, and we will see you next Monday at 7 o'clock Pacific time. Frank, you're awesome. You keep in touch, pal.
Yeah, thank you.